All right, I have a question about, we talked a lot about money and deliverables. I have a question about how to not be a people pleaser in terms of time scope. Oftentimes, like, we'll work with development firms that are downstream from us, and we try to, push the client to not have an infinite timeline or give them as much time as they can. And other times we work with people upstream, and they're like, oh, they can get it done in like a day. It's cool. How do you guys strategize to avoid that, basically?
Great question. Developers are usually technical people, and they want to not necessarily please you, but they know they can do it in a day. So you're actually challenging them. Here's what I want to do. And they're like, I could do that in my sleep. So they're going to answer the question from that point of view. So you always take it with a grain of salt, and you then have to figure out, the 4 times, multiply that times 4, and that's how much time it's really going to take. But how do we deal with it?
Everybody, in my experience, everybody on the delivery team is going to be optimistic and positive and wants to do a great job for the customer, and they will try their best, and that means working late, working through lunch, and to get it done. So in my experience, what it takes is you have to have that person like Elias and Heather that are the project manager that are comfortable having the hard conversation with the customer and saying no in the most diplomatic and nicest way, and framing it in such a way that it's the best thing for the customer, because it is the best thing for the customer. If you ask us to do this and we work super late and you burn out the team, like Scott was saying and Elias was saying, you're not going to have that team 4 months from now if you keep burning us out. Or if you ask us to do it, there's going to be cost implications to that. So, you have to find somebody who's going to be able to have those conversations, hard conversations, not afraid of doing it.
A producer.
And not afraid of doing it as early as possible.
Yeah. So that's a really good, the first hire I made when I was growing my small boutique agency was a producer. That was the first person I hired, like hardcore, like full-time employee. So that helped me a lot.
That's actually one of the when we're interviewing the producer and project manager types, one of our questions is, tell us what the hardest conversation you've had to have with a client is. Brilliant. And that will give us an idea of how willing they are and how many times they've gone through the fire.